Hey everyone! Today I'm going to be filming this video in my sister's bedroom at her closet with a bed sheet in front of it. So today I'm going to be sharing 8 tips on how I stay motivated during quarantine. I've had a couple of people ask me on Instagram and I just thought I'd address it in one video and share what has been working for me on how to keep motivated and how to, push yourself when you really don't feel like it. So number 1, find an accountability partner. I would recommend taking videos, telling a friend, doing it with a friend, journaling about it, or making a group on Facebook. What I did for 14 days was give up Instagram and I meditated for 1 hour every day. What helped me keep on track was finding a group of people that wanted to give up something that they know they shouldn't be doing, but they did it anyways. I made a group and I called it Dopamine Detox. It helped me in the beginning of quarantine and now I hold myself accountable. And it doesn't have to be a group, it can just be one friend. So for example, if I were taking a bunch of dance classes, if I really wasn't feeling like it, I would message someone saying, hey, do you want to take this class? And if they say yes, I'll for sure not flake. That one friend doesn't even have to do it with you. So if I say I'm going to get like 1 hour of meditation done, I will do that. Because if later on they ask, so how's your meditation? And I say, I didn't do it. That's just really disappointing on both parties. So to speak on the journaling, what I used to do last year when I was taking weekly dance workshops downtown, I would journal down while it's still fresh in your brain what was good, what was bad, and what are your next steps. When I was a kid, I never really could keep up with a diary more than like a month, but I realized it's so important to be consistent. And now I kind of see journaling as a different kind of thing. Most likely when you're older, you're not gonna have the time to read every single thing you write down. I journal things down not to keep a memory, and that when you're 70 years old, you can read it with your kid and reminisce on the good times, but to have the act of vocalizing and writing things down. By having it written down, it's more concrete and it's there for you to go back to if you want to see your overall trend. Upload videos. And it doesn't have to be to your friends and family. It doesn't have to be on YouTube to the public for the world to see and make fun of, like me. You get to see your progress in videos. I take videos and I put it on my dance spam. Not a lot of people are going to be watching it, but I do it so that I can keep myself accountable. And instead of focusing on the streak, if you take a video every single day, which I was doing at one point, which drains you out, try to look at it as if it were an overall trend. And if you're going up, even by a little bit, that slope is very slanted. That's progress and that's something to be proud of. So tip number 2 is to establish a morning routine. This allows you to check off little things on your to-do list. You don't feel like your day's already wasted and it kind of propels you into a productive morning. I do not like snoozing. I hate snoozing. And so by using this app called Alarmy, it helps me to do math questions in the morning and make me less tired. I saw a TED Talk on how you should always make your bed in the mornings. It can seem so simple and so easy to overlook, but by making your bed, you are telling yourself that you want to check something off your to-do list. You're giving yourself that boost of confidence that you need to take on the world and have a productive morning. If you don't make your bed, you kind of, admit defeat. So tip number 3 is to have a workspace. The harder you have access to distractions, the better you're gonna be during your work mode. I like to charge my phone away from my workspace, and if I really wanna check it, I will go up and walk over and check my phone. Something as simple as getting a rock, putting it on your phone. Why is that rock there? Oh, it's because I should be working. And if you really, really want to check your phone, you're gonna remove that rock and you're gonna kind of feel guilty because you set these rules and these limits for yourself. And if it doesn't work, I suggest giving it to like a family member to keep your phone away if you don't want to get distracted. For dance, I go down into my basement. I set up 2 lamps for lighting. I have my phone tripod and my phone ready to record me dance. And I also have some music on the side on my laptop or my mom's iPad. Thanks, Mom. Even though we got you that for your birthday. Yes, it's really hard to even just go down the basement, but once you do, I kind of get into that flow state. And it's like, if I'm already here, might as well just do it. And it helps if you have like alarms set and you kind of, establish that routine where it's like, oh, well, it's like 2 o'clock, I should head down now. And clean it often. Cleaning is very important. When you clean your physical space, you're actually decluttering the mind. That's why I clean my closet like every week. Just kidding. I only do it because my mom yells at me. Tip number 4 is, as Shia LaBeouf says,
just do it!
Or as Nike says,
just do it!
Think about a time that you got up and you exercised. Now think about the percentage of when you felt like you regretted it. Most likely it's 0. Rarely do you ever regret working out, right? So that's why you have to keep that mentality. When you're starting things and projects, it's going to take long, but think about how you're not going to regret it. Just know that if it were easy, everyone would be doing it. Buddha said that the best time to plant a tree was 10 years ago, and the next best time is now. You know when you watch videos on Instagram or on YouTube and you're like, wow, that gives me like a really great idea on like something you want to create? And so instead of burying that under the rug and just adding that to your to-do list, if you have the time, just stop what you're doing after you've been inspired and do what you were inspired to do. It's very hard to not do things, but it's easier to do things if you're using that spark from that inspiration, that motivational speech you watched, and using that to propel you into the direction that you want to be in. If you put it off, it's going to be a vicious cycle. You're going to do it all over again. You'll be like me sometimes, where I'm inspired to do something, I have a great idea, I write it down, but I don't do it. And then I just like keep on watching more and more videos. And as you can see, even though these were similar videos, the more you watch it and the longer you watch it for, that trend of inspiration, that spark has just been depleted. It's really important to stop yourself at that fine line from being inspired to being distracted, because that happens to me a lot. Everyone is going to be going by their timelines, so you shouldn't rush yourself and compare yourself with others. To a certain extent though, comparison may be a good way to find motivation. That is fuel you can use. And you don't have to be competitive, be better than them. That could be used as motivation to do something of your own. And so risk-taking and just doing things is a skill. You use it or you lose it. And the more you do it, the better you'll be at it. You're teaching yourself to be uncomfortable and to be used to being uncomfortable. For example, you can take a cold shower. By turning the knob straight to cold and bearing that is self-discipline. That is just doing it. And just finding little things like that in your day, just making yourself uncomfortable, physically or mentally, just turn the knob to cold. The only wrong is not doing it at all. Tip number 5 is meditating. Because I did 14 days of no Instagram and 1-hour meditations daily, this really pushed me to the limit. And honestly, I'm glad, because once you do things where you really don't feel like it, that is when you'll grow the most. So I like to meditate before I check my phone, and this is because you kind of need to put yourself first, put yourself as priority before you check the outside world. Your mood can really affect the rest of your day and your interactions with other people you care about. Once you tune into yourself, the more you'll have to give to others. In regards to staying motivated, meditation has helped me be less impulsive, more patient with myself and the progress I'm making, and not beating myself up for not doing things a certain day. I have an easy exercise that you can do if you don't want to sit down and meditate. So in this exercise, you choose 5 things you can see, 4 things you can touch, 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell, and 1 thing you can taste. It's really about just being mindful and present of your surroundings, and also just be grateful. You can see, hear, touch, and if you can't, so if you want some resources on meditating, I have plenty. You can just message me, slide in the DMs. Tip number 6 is to stay positive. I think it's really important to kind of recognize the people you're following on social media. If you're seeing that the people you follow don't really bring much value to you, then I don't think you should be following that person. I'm very guilty of following people on Instagram and seeing people on social media being very pretty and cute, and I just feel like a scumbag. Oh wait, that meant condom back in the day. Never mind. I just felt like a trash bag, and I didn't feel very cute. But when I take myself out of that hole and I see the bigger picture of this person isn't really helping me self-reflect and want to be a better person on the inside. It's just about the physical appearances and wanting to be like them physically. Confidence and how you act and behave is way more important than how you look. It's important to find little things throughout your day that you enjoy doing. When you're having fun, it doesn't really feel like work. And I would learn 2 to 3 choreos every day, and I didn't really have a break. I was learning a lot and I was improving like exponentially. I could see myself, and usually I'm very down and I beat up myself a lot, but I could see an overall great improvement. But what went wrong was that I wasn't taking these breaks and I was doing things for the wrong reason. Yeah, I loved sharing with my friends and sharing with people the progress I've made and all the choreos I've learned, and having the choreographers repost it made me so happy and I felt so accomplished. But to a certain point, it was not very healthy. It wasn't fun. It felt like I was on autopilot. It was kind of like a job. I realized that the more time strain I put on myself to learn these choreographies, practice them day and night, and doing it while I'm like sitting on the toilet listening to music, and I was really struggling on finding the beauty in dance. I wanted to see progress. I wanted to see it fast, but I rushed myself and I rushed it so much that it wasn't even having fun anymore. You have to know the reasoning for it. I am still dancing here and there, but I don't feel the need to always record it and post it for external validation and to let people know like, hey, I'm still keeping up with my training, I'm keeping consistent. Because the only person you should be doing this for is for yourself. For quarantine, this is the time to work on your well-being, and yes, it's great to share with people and to keep you accountable, but do it for you first. It's important to take breaks, but also it's important to not make excuses with yourself. Be honest, because the worst person you can lie to is yourself. Yeah, you have been making progress, but could you have done better? Can you try again tomorrow and not just settle for less? So there's some food for thought. Speaking of food, physical health is just as important. You are what you eat. By eating the best foods possible, you can become the best version of yourself, to other people and to yourself. So tip number 7, that is to set manageable goals for yourself. Something we all learned in elementary school, I'm pretty sure, is SMART goals. This is still applicable as you grow older into the working world. I'm not working, I'm unemployed. To reiterate what SMART goals are: specific, measurable, assignable, relevant, time-bound. So rather than having on your to-do list, I'm gonna study for MCAT. You're not gonna feel very confident checking that off, are you? No. Analyze your goal, see what's wrong with it, and see why you don't feel as accomplished at the end of the day. And the more specific you make it, the better, because you'll have more things on your to-do list and more things to check off, and you just feel good about yourself the whole day. Do not think of the next 5 steps. Just think about the next step. Take on those small tasks first. You don't want to scare your body, okay? Just steady and slow. Just like my men in bed. I'm joking. I'm gonna cut that. Right? I don't know who's editing this. Can you please cut this? Tip number 8 is to have a conversation with your negative thoughts. I'm very guilty of this. When I was younger, I would go by easily about my day by just avoiding conflict. I would avoid negative thoughts with myself. I would avoid getting into fights with other people and confronting them, confronting myself. If you just run away from the pain you're having and the negative thoughts you're telling yourself, they're gonna come and bite you back in the butt. You learn to ask yourself, do I like this thought? If I don't like this thought, why don't I like this thought? What can I do to change about this thought? I'm a very restless person. I get anxious a lot and I beat myself up. And when I beat myself up, it's just a swarm of negative thoughts and I kind of just go down a hole, just like Alice in Wonderland. So if I tell myself, I really want to post consistently, why am I not wanting to get started? Why don't I feel like filming? Is it because I just don't like the content I'm making? Is it because I'm not really having fun filming these videos? Those are all the tips that I've been doing myself to keep me motivated during quarantine. I hope this video was at least a little bit helpful and it wasn't boring. Quarantine is a tough time for all of us. We all cope with things differently. Be gentle with your body. Treat yourself with kindness. So I just wanted to end this video off saying that during quarantine especially, we always want our situations to change. But we need to realize that we are put in this situation to change. Bless me. You caught my eye. Give it back. The alarm goes off. I do 10 push-ups. I make my bed. I go to the sink, wash my face, brush my teeth, do my skincare, and then I meditate for 10 to 25 minutes, and then I water my plants. Yes. Don't be so selfish. Be selfless and give yourself to other living things.